So, what do you guys think about this Raiders team post Derek Carr with Jared Stidham? I'll give you my take right now. Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are live here Monday evening as we normally do. We're going to break down this little game review of the 37-34 overtime loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Quite frankly, I didn't think it would be this close. We'll talk about the surprise on the offensive side and the not surprise on the defensive side. I want to say hello to you guys. See a few of you already out here. Got a lot of you already in TikTok. I'm simulcasting on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. We're doing this. Waiting for my stream key. Come on, TikTok. I'm back on. We're going to do it. What's up, Dominique? I see Officer Rollout here as well. We're not going to talk about Gabe Davis right now. I'm sure he's going to hook me up. Don't worry about that. No worries, no worries. I see Otto. I see 12 Gauge. How you doing on the TikTok side? Cadaver. Murr 2784, Tony Two Tone 8, Victor Parra, Ismael Carrillo, Mike Dolores, Davil, Joaquin G, and others. Come on in. So I'm going to have my take on this. On the YouTube side, I already have a voting thing going on, live voting. I want to have what's your take on the new offense. So go ahead and vote on that. And if you are new to the program, this is how we normally do it. I'll show you right here. We have what we call the rundown here. We have our various topics, and then we go to the question answer segment. I will have the question and answer live chat open and restream. The link is in the description on TikTok. It is also the pinned comment in YouTube once we get to that. But of course, we always start with you guys as the champions.
I hear everyone say it. Take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, as far as our champion count goes, of course, with the YouTube side, it's a complete regression. YouTube's pretty much trashed this channel. It's pretty much done. I will be probably starting a new channel fresh and maybe some VPN, get around their blocking mechanisms. Because if you see on the TikTok side, I gained about 30 or 40 subs just over the past couple days. You can see it as it goes up. So this isn't in my head. I know what's going on. I've talked about this before. YouTube sucks. And once I get my stream key, I might just go TikTok exclusive. So be sure to subscribe on both channels. Raider Champion on both channels. That said, let's get to this wild and wacky game. Of course, we're going to start on the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders. Now, with all of our game reviews as normal, we go over those 4 keys of the game that I had. In this case, I thought they were going to be tanking. I'm going to give my take in this in a minute. Definitely did not look like they were tanking, at least on the offensive side of the ball. But we are going to start with the defense. As far as the 4 keys, the 4 poops. Of course, the first one I wanted to talk about was a little bit of a surprise. It's Brandon Ayuk. I figured this guy's going to go off on us, especially with no Deebo Samuel. I was thinking he's probably going to get about 100 plus receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, and at least 1 play of 30 or more plus yards. What actually happened here? He actually got 101 receiving yards, so it was pretty much on the money, 1 touchdown, and the biggest play was 23 yards. I'm going to give this one an F. This kind of shows, and it's shown all year, that our DBs suck. They're terrible. It's been what it's been. I know Amik got an interception in the game, but Nate Hobbs is not an outside corner. Neither is Amik Robertson. Rock Ya-Sin is still hurt on IR. We're not going to see him. We didn't see him today or this week, nor next week in our finale against the Chiefs. And quite frankly, we were already thin anyway. They got rid of Trayvon Mullen. So there's real no excuse. This is an organizational issue. Not only having a hole, but keeping a hole all the way into the regular season. Now, of course, my second crap to the game would be this guy right here, Christian McCaffrey, one of the best, if not the best, multi-purpose backs in the league today. He actually broke the record in this game as far as number of receptions by a running back that was originally previously held by Roger Craig, of course, of the 49ers. And I was saying if they're going to tank, they're going to let him have at least 150 total combined yards rushing and receiving, at least one touchdown. So what happened? He got 193 combined yards and a touchdown. Of course, I got to give this one an F. The defense just looks absolutely terrible at this point. And I'll show you a play. I showed it at halftime. I took a screenshot of it. I can't show plays here because I get hit with copyright because YouTube sucks as usual. Everybody else can do this shit. I can't do this shit. They suppress my channel. They're bigger channels. They're allowed to do this. When I do it, that they find that, but they can't promote this channel. So fuck you, YouTube. How about that? Anyway, let's get right to the final defensive grade. It should be no surprise. Absolute F. Now, this is what I showed at the halftime report. If you are not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Next week, we will be going live at halftime during the game. It is on Saturday. They've moved it to Saturday against the Chiefs. And we come in for about 10 or 15 minutes and talk about the game. So be sure to subscribe, hit your bell notifications. Follow on TikTok, do all that good stuff. Hey, how you doing, Diane? The Ed, how you doing? See you in here as well. This is the play. This was one of many plays. This is actual run play. This is actually a draw type play. But you can see right here, there's really good blocking. Of course, that's on the 49ers. Good for them. But here's McCaffrey with the ball. There's absolutely nobody here. Here's Trayvon Merrick. He did not get in the end zone on this play. Surprisingly, he probably should have. But he did not. But it goes to show that and the catching the balls out of the flat. And we talked about this last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Same thing happening here. We are not adjusting for that. Of course, McCaffrey is one of the very best, as I said, catching the ball as well as a running back. So this is an indictment on Patrick Graham, the new defensive coordinator for this year. I don't know what's going on. On the defensive side, it totally looked like they were tanking. But on the offensive side, a much different story. Let's get right to that. And I do appreciate those gifts coming out at 12 Footballs. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. And you're liking the live. Like I said, if you are enjoying this, be sure to like the live. Got over 500 likes on TikTok. Of course, you can hit it more than once. The YouTube side, only once. We got 8. We need a little bit more there. I see what, 5 people in here. So we need to get that up a little bit more because I had about 5 coming into the. So let's get that going. As I said, let's get the offensive side of the ball. Absolute shock to myself and probably 99% of everybody else watching the game or taking a look at this game. Coming in with a quarterback that basically fresh. I know he started a couple games with the New England Patriots. A career backup, Jarrett Stidham. And he actually did pretty good. This offense looked a lot better. I'm going to get into the specifics here right now. But let's get into this first key of the game. And that's, of course, Nick Bosa. Basically, he's going to be the defensive player of the year. 17.5 sacks coming into this game. Absolute disruptor. The best edge rusher in the league right now, no doubt. No offense to Max Crosby. He's a stud too, but Bosa has had a much better year, obviously. So what I want to say as far as tanking goes, he should have at least 3 sacks and 4 quarterback hits. What did he actually get? He got no sacks. There were actually no sacks for the game for the 49ers. This is one of the best defenses all the way around in the league, if not the best. But the team had 8 quarterback hits, 5 of which were from Nick Bosa himself. So I'm going to give this a B-. I'm kind of grading on a curve. If you watched my game reviews before, if a team's really shitty, I'm going to grade a lot more stricter because we should be taking care of these guys. But in this case, this Niners defense was so good. Not to say that that the offensive line was great, but definitely one of the better games that they've had overall. Except for maybe Colton Miller, actually. I know Bosa was lining up on the left and right side, and when Bosa lined up on Colton Miller, bad things happened. He just walked him back. That play on the goal line where Armstead came in and made a play, he just basically threw Colton Miller off to the side and kept going to get Josh Jacobs there on that 4th and goal, that goal line stand by the Niners. So, again, I would say grading on a curve, it's a B-. I would say if it wasn't, it'd probably be about a C on that. That green. Officer Roland says, holy crap, all that green, a running diamond lane. Pretty much. And like I said, that I know we've had injuries. Perryman's is going to be out the rest of the year, obviously. Probably not going to come back silver and black. But no excuses. I mean, put whoever you got your scrub there. If McCaffrey owns him, then, God bless, you're a better player. That's great. But to leave it wide open is absolutely ridiculous. Let's get to our second key, our second poop of the game. That was Jared Stidham himself. If we're going to tank this game, I'm just thinking less than 200 total passing yards and at least 1 turnover. What do we have? He had 365 passing yards. He had 3 TDs in the game. He did have 2 interceptions. I do not blame him for either interception. One was a tip at the line of scrimmage that popped up and went back to another offensive lineman. I forgot who actually got it. But that's just kind of a luck play. I mean, it's a hustle play for the Niners. I'm not taking that away. But to say, he sucked for throwing that interception, I'm not going to give him that. The other one, he got hit as he threw, and it was picked off. It is what it is. I mean, if you want to complain about him on that, you could say he could get rid of the ball faster. But those things happen to even the best of quarterbacks. And for him to kind of step up against this Niners defense, throw not over 300 yards, 365 yards, 3 TDs, that is amazing. I'm going to give this one an A- for him as far as this goes. Can't give an A due to the 2 turnovers, but this was actually an outstanding effort by Jared Stidham all the way around. Now, as far as the offensive grade overall, I'm giving it an A-. I mean, we were running the ball. We could pass the ball. We had 500 yards in total offense, 34 points scored, again, and we had 135 rushing yards against a team that only averaged giving up 75 rushing yards a game. 29 first downs. We were 4 of 10 with 3rd down conversions. I like to have that 50%. Jared Stidham himself was actually scrambling, and that probably helped to keep them off the sack board as far as the Niners defense goes. He had 7 scramble/rushes for 34 yards. Now, it's not lights out, but he's a lot more elusive than Derek Carr, of course. But that helped them kind of keep on their toes. And not only that, the play calling. And I talked about this last week. I said there was not a game. If you watched my, I believe the preview on Friday rather, I said there has not been a game this year where I could look back and say Josh McDaniels did a good job at play calling. As a matter of fact, there was a lot of kind of weird gaffes that he would do. He would go for it in his own end. He did a fake punt when he was up 10-7, I believe against the Houston Texans. Just stupid kind of things. But this one, he balanced the offense, kept the 49ers defense on their heels for the most part. Of course, Bosa's a stud. You can only slow him down, a player like that. You're not going to completely shut him down. Understandable, but overall, I mean, 500 total yards in this game. We still lost the game because the defense sucked so bad. But it's just amazing to me. And that kind of brings forth the question that I have with what was going on here. Now I asked this on here, what was your take on the new offense? Was this Josh McDaniels' plan all along to act like he's an idiot and then get his guy in and then actually all of a sudden know how to call plays? Or was Derek Carr not getting it, and now Stidham does, and now it works? I'll let you guys decide. I want you guys in chat. We'll get to that in Q&A. But look, here's my case in point. This is ridiculous. This is last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's Josh McDaniels. Can't even wear a headband. He's got the logo upside down here. And now you're telling me he can script a play like this one? This is the first touchdown we had to Darren Waller. Now, I can't show the play, of course, because I'll get a copyright strike because, you know, YouTube sucks, of course. Everybody else can do this shit, but I can't, apparently. They had a a play. It was a play action type of a play. Hufanga kind of bit on it. He rolled out and just tossed it to Waller wide open. I'm not going to give that necessarily to Stidham. That's pretty easy pass to make. Hufanga got schooled because why? The play calling. It was nice and balanced. It, like I said, it kept them on their heels. The Niners defense really, I didn't really know what was happening, and more so in the first half. I'll give that. I think that the Niners defense kind of caught up a little bit, but still, we ended up scoring, tying the football game late. So it wasn't like a deal. I know we had a 10-point lead, but still, this is the Niners defense. Like I said, arguably the best in the league. And we could still score on this team. 4 touchdowns, two field goals. And if it wasn't for getting hit in overtime, who knows? We might have won that game. But again, it goes to show me what is going on here. Was this a ploy all along? What is going on here with Josh McDaniels? But I want to know what you have to say about this as well. I'm going to go over my prediction. I predicted 27-10. Raiders losing. I did not predict. I'll say this. I think the Niners scoring, they end up scoring 37. I think that was a little excessive. I thought our defense would be a little bit better. I thought they would be a little more hampered by turnovers, 3 and outs. They'd be on the field all day, but still way too many points to give up. Even in overtime, you could say it's 34-34 at the end of regulation. Way too many points to give up to Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy. Give me a break. They didn't have Deebo Samuel. Still, I know they had CMC, but still, way too many points to give up on the defensive side. But it was kind of close on my prediction. The offensive side, I don't think anybody saw that coming. So that begs me, it lends me, what is going on here as far as this offense goes? What is going on here? I want to hear what you guys have to say. I told you what I think about this. I can't imagine that it took Josh McDaniels this long to get it and actually have a decent shot at calling plays, especially against D'Amico Ryans and this defense. I mean, this isn't the Houston Texans we're talking about here, and we actually scored more points against them than we did the Texans. So what is going on here? What is happening here? This makes no sense. Not to mention that there were a ton of 49ers in the stands, even though it was in Vegas. NFL on Fox, the announcers, the butt fumble guy and the other guy, completely biased for the Niners. It was disgusting. They were playing going back to Cali. No, they were in Las Vegas, Fox. I know you're the NFC. You do the NFC games, but you know what? This was a home game for the Raiders, supposedly, in Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't know if I got to get you guys an atlas or what, but you guys acted like you were totally clueless. When there were calls, if it was calls one way, you would say, oh, yeah, this and that. Like the George Kittle flop, you defended that PI. Give me a break. And then the other side, they were complaining for a roughing call. You kind of toned that down. You guys were trying to say that Devontae Adams wasn't in bounds, all this other crap. Screw you guys. Screw Mark Sanchez. Go butt fumble yourself again. You're garbage. I mean, you're barely even a decent announcer. You were shitty. Your claim to fame was you were decent at USC, but you came in the league. You're a complete joke. And now you're like this much better in the booth. Well, that bar was pretty low, pal. That bar was pretty low. So anyway, that said, I want to get your comments. I'm going to open up the chat lines right now. Let's get that open. I'll pop that open right now. We'll get the restream going. If you guys want to come into the restream, you know what to do. You got to come in. What you do is you hit that link right there. It's in the first comment on TikTok if you want to come in, or it is the pinned comment on YouTube. You click that. You go into the green room. You put your name in. You can put your handle in. You go into the green room. I let you in. You don't have to be on camera. You come in and you sound off. I want to hear what you guys have to say. If not, put it in the comments below. I want to hear what you guys have to say, both on YouTube and on the TikTok side. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see what you guys are talking about. So, what do you guys think about this offense? Is this legit? Is this for real? It's almost, to me, it almost feels like they're making out Derek Carr to be like some kind of dumbass who didn't get it. And, you know, once we finally bench him and we put in his boy Stidham, who's been with him for God knows how long with the Patriots and all that. Oh, no problem. See, it wasn't me. It wasn't me, guys. It wasn't me, Mr. Davis. It's Derek Carr. I put my guy in. He hasn't played all year. Look, he's got 365 passing yards. Oh, Darren Waller, you're actually trying to make an effort and jump up for passes for the first time. You're not hurt now. Wow, I wonder why. Give me a break with that. Psycho Jackal, I did hear about that. Yeah, Psycho Jackal is saying David Carr, his older brother, is going to do a podcast to tell all about the Raider organization. This could get ugly. I mean, we've had off seasons where it's been kind of blah. The biggest thing was people making clickbait like Chat Sports. I'm calling you out, they're the kings of clickbait, absolute kings. They will come out and say, "Oh, Carr's getting traded. Carr's getting traded. Gruden doesn't like him. Carr's getting traded. Is Carr going here? Oh, are we going to get Deshaun Watson?" I had to hear that shit for years from those people. The best thing they do is drink Fireball. That's the best. They're real good at drinking Fireball on their live streams. Knowledge about football, not so much. Because a lot of that stuff didn't happen. Why? Because it's a bunch of bullshit. National Enquirer garbage. And I'm hearing this, but this could definitely be something going on here. I'm interested in this. This is not clickbait because now you have David Carr, of course, was quarterback, his older brother. Got done dirty with Houston. I talked about that because somebody's saying, "Oh, Derek Carr should go to Houston." I'm like, why? Why? So they can screw him over like they did his brother? It makes no sense. And of course, David Carr has been in the booth. So this would be interesting. Something coming out. So, hey, Al's Ghost, I see you in here as well. Hello. Salute to you too, sir. If you or anybody else wants to come into the green room and give me your opinion on what happened in this game, specifically on the offensive side. The defensive side, let's be honest, it didn't surprise me a bit. I mean, Davis Mills looked awesome. They made Jeff Saturday look awesome. And the Colts game, and the offensive coordinator, I don't know his name with Jeff Saturday and the Colts. First ever game ever in his life, calling plays and schooling Patrick Graham. So this didn't surprise me one bit. The offensive side totally surprised me. I knew Josh Jacobs would probably get it here and there. They would probably stuff him a little bit, then he'd get a good run because you got strength versus strength. Each side's going to get some. I get that, but for Stidham to come out and throw 365, for the blocking to be better, for Darren Waller to actually give a shit, and the play calling. Like I said, this is the first game. This is game 16, week 17, game 16 for the Raiders, where I could say Josh McDaniels did a good job at play calling for the most part in this game. He didn't fumble over himself like an idiot like he normally does. So let's see. Officer Rollout says, "Chat Sports will do anything for a super chat." Yeah, give me a super chat right now. I'm gonna drink I'll drink a whole bottle of Fireball. Glug, 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 glug. I'll get a tattoo on my ass that says "I love the Chiefs" if you give me $1,000 super chat. They're bums. They're entertainers. They don't know a whole lot, and they're a corporate structure. They got a whole bunch of people working for them. Most of the true, real Raider content creators are on their own for the most part. So I don't respect it. I know some of them. I know some of the big Raider content creators collab with those guys, but it's a business. They're not Raider fans. That guy, Mitchell Rentz, also does, I believe, the Dolphins, or he used to. So he's not like a Raider fan. And oh, by the way, they're in Dallas, Texas. Cowboys, that's where they started with all that. They have a Cowboy channel, too. They have a bunch of different NFL team channels. So if you want to go there trying to find some information, maybe, I don't know. I mean, they've got enough people to try to dig up some stuff, but I would say about 80% of it's going to be a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. So, Alice Ghost says it almost as if McDaniels didn't want Carr to succeed. Now, yes, and I mentioned that, and that's what my poll really is about. And I put that in YouTube if you want to vote. If you want to talk about it in TikTok, you can put it down as well. I said, what is your take on this new offense? Was it Josh McDaniels' plan all along? Did Josh kind of luck into this? Was it just time for a change? Was it just Carr? And once you took him out and stood him in, things kind of started fitting. Or other, I just put another if you had any other takes on it that were other than that. And right now, the majority of you are saying that basically it was a plan. And it kind of feels that way, and I'm really interested to see what David Carr has to say about all this. Obviously, the Raider, I mean, he's going to basically say that the organization is a clown show. Raider fans, we all know that. We know that's a clown show from the get-go, and I've already explained that. I've done tons of videos on it. I've made fun of John Gruden, especially his play calling. I've made a ton of videos making fun of Mark Davis. Talking about the Hooters, talking about him getting in trouble. That kind of got swept under the rug. Remember, right in the offseason, there was some harassment allegations. He dismissed the president of the Raiders, and that president was gonna sue him. And then, like I said, there was some kind of harassment, hostile work environment type allegations. Haven't heard anything from that. I wonder why. Because Mr. Hooter Boy, Mr. Tommy Boy is in the league with the rest of the league. And when you're on their side, they can sweep some things under the rug. If you're not on their side, you might get the Daniel Snyder treatment or the John Gruden treatment. Just saying. Let's see. Dude, I want to, but I can't send anything. Oh, no. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. I'm not asking. I was joking about super chats. I'm not going to tattoo my ass like Chat Sports does. I'll probably set something up on my new channel, but don't worry about it. We'll take care of that. Don't worry about all that junk. I was just, like I said, I was just making fun of them. If you give me a $50 super chat, I'll drink a bottle of Red Bull or Fireball rather. I was like, what? Yeah, and I would. I've watched it before. I don't watch it anymore. I watch it. I come in and out. They do simulcast of the games. Now, I know some people like that. You have the group environment, but you can't show the game. And they're not really keeping up with the game. They've had so many drinks that they're just kind of hobbling around. And then they have their sponsors, and their manscaping sponsor and all this other bullshit. It's really a joke. To me, if you want to do that, the camaraderie, stick to a homegrown Raiders type show. If you're going to go with Docs, I know Docs goes with Mitchell, but Docs does a good show. He's a real Raider fan, unlike Mitchell Rentz. I don't buy that for 1 minute. You want to do Spotlight, Honcho does it. He's a real Raider fan too. So I would say stick with those guys if you want to do that. So let's see. Lencho says, all that red at Allegiant Stadium is disappointing. I just couldn't believe it in being there. I did my best to be the loudest trolling in the 49ers fans, so I sent out like 10 people. Yeah, and we saw it on TV as well. And we kind of talked about that, and I believe Al's Ghost or Psycho, a couple of the guys were mentioning that they were giving out perks, hotel people are giving out perks for people flying in to give them Raider tickets to go see the game. So that's going to encourage all these away people to come down and kind of lose your home field advantage if we even have one in the first place. So, especially this one, basically we're out of it. The Niners are still in it, and with Philadelphia kind of swooning now, Jalen Hurts hurt. That first seed is up for grabs, and that gives you that first round bye. So let's see what we got here. Psycho says Mitchell Renz is a total fake. Yeah, that's a 100 on that one. The major Raiders content creators on YouTube spew a lot of misinformation. It's quite sad. Yeah, especially the corporate-driven ones. It's about money. It's not about love for the team or the game or doing it. It's about money, and every other line is about a sponsorship or send me a super chat and I'll, like I said, tattoo I love the Raiders on my ass or something. So Dominique said Stidham played well, showed a lot of grit. Absolutely. I'm not going to give anything away from Jarrett Stidham, but my take is, of course he knows the system, but it seemed like he scrambled. And this is the Niners defense, and it's a tough defense, and he played real well. Very few bad throws in this game. He played better than Carr has played lately. I give him that, but it seemed to me that the offensive line did a lot better job for him. It seemed to me Darren Waller actually gave a shit and actually tried to play, jumping up 10 feet in the air to get that ball, trying to get that one down there. It was a deep pass. I'm not going to give Stidham too much crap about that, but it was kind of low. He tried to get it, couldn't get it. That happens, but the effort level was way up here overall with the offense. So, let's see. Prayers go out to the Buffalo Bills player. I'm not watching the game. DeMar Hamlin, if you want to talk about what happened, we can, you want to mention that, that's fine. So, I hope he's okay. I don't know what happened to him. Let's see. Alsgo says commitment to money, pride, and cash. Just make money, baby. Yeah, and it's kind of what it's about. And we talked about that. This isn't the Al Davis Raiders anymore. Of course, Al wanted a new stadium, wanted to make money, but that didn't drive him. It drove him. Football drove him. Football was his life. Like I said, he was. We talked about that. He was a scout. He was an assistant coach, a head coach, commissioner of the AFL, of course, owner, general manager or managing partner, basically general manager. Football was his life. He wanted to win. Just win, baby. Commitment. Those were all his. It's not Tommy Boy. They just carried that over for the old school. They really don't care about that. Officer Rollout says every organization has its screw-ups, and Jacksonville will never get beyond Urban Meyer. Well, look at the screw-ups we've had. I mean, John Gruden, past his prime. Let's be honest, the game left him behind 20 years ago. Jack Del Rio was okay. I think he's an average coach at best. I know we went 12-4 that year, but we had a lot of things go our way. Khalil Mack was an absolute beast. Carr was playing at MVP level. And then they fell back to earth. I think it was 7-9 the next year, and he got fired. Before him, Dennis Allen, Mr. Sharpie. Still not impressed. I know New Orleans beat us. But I think that was more on McDaniels than him, to be honest with you. And the Saints defense is very underrated, but still we should have scored some points in that game. So, he collapsed after making the hit, did not look hard at all. Head whips a little. I hope he's okay. I hope he's okay too. We definitely needed CPR and oxygen on the field. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. If it's causing that, maybe it's something with the spine. I hope not, and I hope he's okay. Wow. I'll probably catch that later on, but wow, it's part of the game. Hey, Daddy is back with the milk. I see you in here. Hi. My favorite name on TikTok, or on the TikTok side. How you doing? We're just talking about the Raider 49er game. We're talking about this new look offense. I guess Jarrett Stidham was the cure to all of our ills. I mean, we had the league leader in rushing. We still can't win a game. We didn't win this one, but we played damn close to a team that you could argue is the best in the NFC. You could argue that, especially right now. Minnesota looking like trash. Dalvin Cook looking like trash. Justin Jefferson looking like trash. And, of course, Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts problems. They very well could be the best team in the NFC right now. And we played them to overtime. And 34 points scored on that defense. You can't take that away. So, good you. I'm doing all right. Finally moved into my new location. Been talking about that for a while. I was away from YouTube for a couple weeks. Just getting kind of some of the details settled in, of course. A lot of the major stuff has been done, of course. But there's always a little bit of something here and there. Trying to find where to put this, where to put that. But that said, probably starting next week, there's going to be some changes going on with the channel. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then in the offseason, there's going to be some major changes going on here. Frankly, this channel is not growing at all, not on the YouTube side. The TikTok side, absolutely. You moved to, where did you move to? Daddy is back with the milk. I moved out of California to Oregon, and I'm already happy I did. It is a lot colder here than I was up there, but you know what? I don't have to pay 10% tribute to Gavin Newsom now. Thank you. Thank you. I just went and bought some furniture today. It would have been a whole lot more if I bought it down there because 10% sales tax. Isn't that wonderful? No sales tax here. No sales tax in Nevada either. How about that? You're in Hanford, California. Okay, cool. So yeah, I moved up. I was in Southern California. I moved up to Oregon, and quite happy I did. So let's see. Let's look at the comments. Delayed the game. They're going to possibly cancel the game. What? Oh no. Let's see. Dominic says, is Nate Hobbs playing hurt or is just not fit in the scheme? He looks awful. Nate Hobbs is not an outside corner. He's not a man outside type corner. He's more of an inside guy. I would like him to get maybe about 15, 20 pounds more and be a strong safety if possible. I think that a box type safety, I think that's probably the way he plays. He can tackle and chase down the run. He can disrupt. He can blitz. Make plays in that respect. I think that's his fit. If he can physically do it, he should be doing that, especially with Abram gone. That's where I would put him, but I want to move to Nevada. Daddy with the milk said, Daddy's back with the milk says, I want to move to Nevada. Yeah. There's basically two sides of Nevada. You got the hot as hell side on the southern end, and then you got the cold side on the northern end. So, and then you got a whole lot of government land in the middle. So, you can make your choice on that. Let's see. Vinny Thomas says revenge game on KC upcoming Saturday. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I called the season after New Orleans. Of course, it wasn't technically over. Now it's technically over because we lost to the Niners. But why not have some pride? You're playing up against a division rival who's trying to get that number one seed. Why not? And that's why I don't think they're going to cancel this game because Buffalo, they're playing for that number one seed. Are they going to reschedule it? I don't think so. I don't think they would cancel the game for that. So why not spoil their party? They won the division. Okay, yeah, they're good. We don't have to give them the first round bye. If we can beat them, they don't get that first round bye. They got to play an extra game to get to that Super Bowl. So, Guareb, how are you doing? I see you in here. Guareb says every team we got beat would basically lose after playing the Raiders, Cardinals, Titans, Colts, and Rams. So the Raiders are the get right team for even the worst teams. Yeah. I mean, the Cardinals game was an absolute joke. 20-0 lead. The Titans was the other way around. Played like crap and tried to win at the end. The Colts was terrible. I don't know what to say about the defense. Couldn't really do much on that one. And then the Rams. I mean, Baker Mayfield with the team like literally 2 days, and engineers of a 98-yard game-winning drive. I talked about this stuff being scripted. I mean, that sounds scripted to me, to be honest with you. Daddy is back. Says, I like Daddy Carr, but he didn't do good. No, he didn't, especially the last few weeks. He should have been benched. I was talking about benching him after the New Orleans game. Even just as a wake-up call. I know that's happened before. Donovan McNabb, that happened to. I know Steve Young back in the day when they got their asses whipped by Philadelphia. He got benched for a week, and then he came back. I believe they won the Super Bowl that year. So I was hoping for that. Of course, we don't have the leadership for that. We don't have the coaching to do stuff like that. But now they're going to bench him because they don't want him getting hurt and having to pay a contract. So Vinny Thomas says we should move Hobbs back to the slot position. Yeah, but the problem is we don't have any other corners. Who's going to be there? This organization is so thin at corner. It's ridiculous. They're thin at corner, thin at defensive tackle, and now with the injuries, thin at linebacker. What are they going to do? What was the plan for this? And it gets back to me. It gets back to this, we're just going to blow this up, do it the Patriot way or whatever you want to call it. I don't give a shit if you guys were 10-7 last year. We're going to be lucky. We're going to be lucky to be 7-10 this year. So, and we had the league leading rusher. So go figure that. How could it have regressed that bad? I don't know. You tell me. Let's see. Hobbs can't cover. I agree. Should be changed to safety. Merrick needs to be benched. Yeah, Merrick has not been having too great. Hang on. Merrick has not looked very good back there, to be honest with you. Of course, he was drafted for the high safety position under the old regime, but still, last few games, not so good. You're right, not so good. And I'm just saying safety. I don't know if physically he can handle it, running in there and getting, hitting a Derrick Henry and stuff like that all the time. But that's the style he plays. Why not? Why aren't they blitzing him? I mean, even last year when they would blitz him here and there, Gus Bradley hardly ever blitz. But when they got him in the backfield, good things happened. Good things happened for the most part. Busting up plays, causing turnovers. I don't think they're utilizing him very well. I don't know what's going on the defensive side of the ball, to be honest with you, whether it's personnel, the schemes. It's like kindergarten. It's like schoolyard, right? Or Madden or something. There's a play like the week before, they would keep tossing it to Najee Harris about 5 yards in the middle, about 5-yard play past the line of scrimmage. They did it like 3 times in a row. It's like they're just schooling. They're making you look stupid. You're going to let them do the same thing over and over and over again, exactly the same thing, and you're not going to change anything? Come on. Angel Sandoval's here. How you doing? What McDummy does is the next 2 years will take years to undo. We're not the Patriots. This is the dumbest coach ever. Well, he looked pretty smart this week, and that kind of lends me what the hell is going on. What the hell is going on here? It makes no sense to me because how can you look so lame all year and then all of a sudden, boom, no problem. Let's see. Whoop. I'm missing some here. Let me see. I believe it was planned. Yeah, he says, I believe it was planned. Man, this thing's not letting me scroll down. Hang on a second, guys. Let's see. I believe it was planned the whole time. Tommy Boy Davis took the bullet to make McDaniel's save face. Yeah, probably. I mean, you don't have evidence of it, but that's the way it looks. Officer Roulette says there's no state tax in Florida as well. That is correct. Doesn't matter because I get all my furniture at yard sales. Well, good for you. On the rollout report, I'm not going to say that word. I might get in trouble, especially on the TikTok side. I said a certain word and I got put on the bench for a week. So I got to kind of be careful what I say. Yeah, I'm waiting for your rollout report. I wouldn't mind doing some collaborating as well, rollout. If you want to, we can do that as well. You can get a hillbilly take on the NFL. That would be wonderful. East Coast, West Coast. Let's see what we're doing here. Dominique says, we need a lot. Just looking at those rosters, shaking my head. And yeah, and I've said it for the past 6+ months, or even more so, even before the draft. I mean, we were looking at people in the combine, draft prospects. This is before we traded our first 2 picks for Devontae. And I pointed out the holes. They didn't really fill those holes. Let's be honest with you. They had a Luminor at right tackle who's kind of been up and down. He's been doing better lately, and I've said that, but for the most part, and they were sticking with Leatherwood almost all the way to the final cut day, literally. Kept saying he's going to be our day 1 starter, and then they cut his ass. Didn't even keep him around. Didn't bench him. I mean, if you felt he was talented enough to be your day 1 starting right tackle, then what the hell? Why did you cut him? Why? If you want to humble him, bench him, put a Luminor in and say, look, you're not getting the job done. Work harder, blah, blah, blah. That didn't happen. A lot of weird moves going on. And Trayvon Mullen, I was not a big fan of Trayvon Mullen. Look at what I said last year. He was very hot and cold to me. Sometimes he'd look good. Sometimes he'd just get burnt to a crisp. We traded him away. I was like, okay, but it doesn't, it's not like a huge deal, but it kind of is because we really have no depth at corner. It just makes no sense. What they're doing makes no sense. Again, it looks like they were intentionally destroying. They didn't give a shit about this year. They're not going to tell you that because they want you to come in and spend your money and buy tickets and all that, because they know if they're intentionally not going to try to win, then that kind of destroys all the pride and poise and all that crap, and people aren't going to put up with it. So they got to play the game with you to get into your wallet and take your money. Just like Chat Sports. They got to jump through their little hoops and drink their drinkies to get their super chats. So let's see. Benny Thomas says, different quarterbacks, the same results at the end of the game. We have a lot of third string players starting for us. Yeah, and that kind of is a testament to how close we played the Niners. The Niners are an immensely more talented team. Let's be honest. Even Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant's been playing pretty well. They traded for Christian McCaffrey. Come on. That offensive line is a beast. Trent Williams, best left tackle. They have the best left tackle in the league. They have the best edge rusher in the league. They have a great linebacking core. Ward is a good corner. Played pretty well against Devontae for the most part. He had to earn everything he got. And the secondary is pretty opportunistic at turnovers. I mean, they're one of the more talented teams in the league. So for us to play them that tight says a lot for the team as far as the player level. And the play calling was better. Which is a surprise, which lends to me, where the hell was this week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4? Wasn't here. Let's see. Said the same thing. Angel Sandoval says, offense looked good. Hard to expect that again. No tape on Stidham. Also, a great grasp on the system. Also, first 8 or 9 plays, all play action. Carr has one of those lowest play action passes all year at 21%. As far as the tape goes, I mean, hang on. I think the success was more the play calling. If you look, the Niners were getting fooled a lot on the play action, and then they had to respect Josh Jacobs. Again, it gets back to this. Why weren't we doing that more before? when we had Josh Jacobs, and they'd have to respect Josh Jacobs. Again, didn't make sense. Now we know how to call plays. It just feels like they're trying to scapegoat Derek Carr at this point. Not to say Carr played great. Carr's played lousy the last 3 or 4 weeks. But to just send him out on a rail, if that was, again, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know the mindset. If that was the case, why did we extend him? I mean, even the contract is good. I understand that, but still, doesn't make sense. Didn't get that at all. Angel also says, I hate to say this, but keep Stidham. Draft offensive line. Draft offensive line and defense. Draft a quarterback following year after a crappy 2023, and then you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, and you can add to depth. Yeah, I think we're going to draft one this year, though. This coming draft. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Stidham will probably be around as the number 2 guy. Maybe the starter initially, if they don't feel the rookie can get up to speed right away. But I don't see Stidham as the number 1 guy. I know, of course, Chat Sports. I saw some clickbait. Oh, QB1. No. It's amazing to me. They do whatever they can to get a click. It doesn't have to be legit. It doesn't matter. We're making ours. We're getting ours. It don't matter. This draft is not the draft for a quarterback. Well, a lot of people like Young. A lot of people like Stroud. Levis is kind of up and down. I'm starting to look a little bit more film on these guys. I can't watch college and pros. I can't spend a whole weekend doing football. I got to pick one or the other. So I do pro, but in the off season I'll look at tape and videos and stuff of these guys. Let's see. Very weak, just like when we drafted Carr. He was the best quarterback in his class. Yeah, that was Manziel, Blake Bortles, Bridgewater, right? I think that was the draft class in 14. And who am I missing? Somebody else. Shoot. Yeah, you guys can put it in the chat. But Bortles went, I think, 3rd overall to Jacksonville. He was terrible. I'll let Rollout talk about Blake Bortles since he's a Jags fan. So anyway, we normally go about an hour, and I want to let you guys know, I appreciate you guys coming out. I appreciate all the likes. I got 1,500 likes in the TikTok side. How many do I have on the YouTube side? 11. Thank you guys very much. That's a lot, given a lot of people coming in and out of here. All the gifts on the TikTok side, the YouTube side, they won't let me monetize on this channel. I'm going to have to do some stuff, and I'll probably open a second channel, and it'll probably get to this level and above very, very quickly, as long as they don't know it's me. And I have some reasoning behind that. I'll get to that once we start transitioning over, but I will be making a different separate channel, and then probably not doing any content on this channel per se. We'll just transition to that Raider Champion channel. Unfortunately, it is what it is. This channel is not growing. YouTube is not sharing anything. Things are not growing. I'm on the TikTok side, and it grows much more, and I put out less content. So you got to play this little game with YouTube, unfortunately. Let's see. Yes, this is the same type of draft. Do we want to go down this rabbit hole again? Well, I don't know. What the problem is Mark Davis. Let's be honest with you. And you know, all due respect to Al, things started going south when his health started going south. His mental health. Let's be honest. It wasn't the same guy. It happens to all of us, the best of us. And then he passed away. Mark got the team, and he's a complete buffoon. You know, I mean, he can't even get a haircut, for Christ's sakes. He's a billionaire. You know, The stadium's worth over $1 billion. The team's worth over $1 billion now. He still can't get a good haircut. The hirings he's done have been really head scratchers. The 10-year guaranteed deal with Gruden made no sense. We got out of that very, very luckily, to be honest with you. And then this whole thing with the whole Patriots thing, basically turned the keys over to them, and it's going to be their decision. So I know some of you have said that Josh McDaniels could get fired next season. I don't see it. The earliest he could be gone to me is 2024. And here's why. Now this game is kind of, it almost feels like an indictment. Like, see, I can go to Mark Davis. I'm Josh McDaniels. I can go to Mark Davis now and say, see, Derek Carr didn't get it. Derek Carr did not get my system. You can see it. I put my guy in. He's not as talented. He's been a journeyman backup, but he knows my system and he does it the way I want to. And look what happened. We almost beat one of the best teams in the league. See? And that's going to be, yep, here you go. Do whatever you want. You're right. I'll give you at least probably 2 more years at least. So that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, guys, unfortunately. Would rather talk Minshew mania. God. Oh no. Oh no. You need to go get a comb to comb out your quarterback's hair, so it's nice and luxurious. Put some conditioner in it and stuff, so he looks nice and good out there on the field. Let's see. Angel Sanchez says this is true haircut. At least Gruden is a Raider. Yeah, he is. And he's a great guy as far as motivating, yelling, cheerleading, doing the rah-rah thing. Absolutely. He is everything Josh McDaniels is not. And they're kind of opposite on the spectrum. He's more fiery and emotional. Josh is kind of more laid back. He's supposed to be the more cerebral guy. Again, haven't seen it until this week. I'm giving Josh McDaniels credit this week. I think the game plan was very good on the offensive side. The defense still sucks, and that's partially on him because he hired Patrick Graham. I don't know what the hell's going on. I know we're decimated. We got injuries. The talent's not quite there, but still, this defense has not played very well the whole season. So, but again, get back to your point. Gruden's a rah-rah guy, the emotional guy, not really the X's and O's guy, and it showed. And I've done videos on it. Basically, he gets out coached during games, during second halves of games, and you can see during the second half of the season where the team swoons and can't recover. It is what it is. I like John Gruden. I like Chucky. I like the fiery attitude. He's a Raider. He'll always be a Raider, but he probably should have stayed in the booth at that point. And obviously he pissed somebody off in the league. All that stuff going on. They pull emails out and burn him with it instead of Snyder or anybody else, because those were emails regarding the Washington whatevers. You can't say their name anymore. That's bad or whatever. Care about that, but those emails were around that team, and their former GM was emailing him, Bruce Allen, who used to be with the Raiders way back in the day. So all that, and you get Gruden on the side. That's your main course, is a little side dish. So he pissed somebody off. Which honestly, it doesn't surprise me, the way his attitude is and how fiery he is. He probably pissed somebody off, pissed the wrong person off, and there you go. So it is what it is. This was Gruden's 4th year in the system, and Devontae, if email didn't get leaved, we would be Super Bowl contender. I don't think we'd be a Super Bowl contender with John Gruden at all. I don't think it was ever going to happen. I said this after the 2nd year. I could not see us winning a Super Bowl with John Gruden as head coach at that point. And it kind of showed. I mean, even those last couple of games he was with us, we got throttled by the Bears. It was awful. It was terrible. I don't know if Devontae would come, and you could question some of the moves he made. Antonio Brown, for God's sakes, I mean the guy could do just about anything he wanted. Calling Mayock names I can't say on here. I'll probably get kicked off, but he can say it. It's okay. Uh, he had Antonio Brown had every opportunity. He was given every card by John Gruden to stay on the team, and he just flipped it off. And then he finally got released, and then he ran into the pool or ran outside, jumping up and down like an idiot. Obviously, his head's not on straight, but then that's an indictment on John Gruden. Why are you bringing a guy in like that? It just made no sense. So, a lot of the other moves, Trent Brown. I mean, you're going to get half a season for full pay with that guy, and he's not that good. And the drafting, especially the drafting on the front end, the first 2 rounds. Do we have anybody left on the team from those first 2 round picks? Go look back. Just saying. Officer Rollout says Mark should hang out with Robert Kraft. Sure, he knows the best places to get. I'm not saying that. I know what you're talking about, the massages, aren't you? I know what you're saying. I know where you're getting at with that. All right, I'm going to close out the poll here. Get your last votes in. What's your take on the new offense? Was it Josh McDaniels' plan all along? Did Josh McDaniels luck into it? Or was it just time for a change from Derek Carr? You put a new guy in it, and you got kind of a refreshing of the whole team, or at least on the offensive side. The defense still sucked, or something else. So put in your votes now. I'll take your final comments. I usually go about an hour or right about the hour point. I will be back on Friday to do the final game review against the Kansas City Chiefs. It'll be interesting. Just a quick take on that. Is this team going to show up? I think they kind of will. I think they will. I think Stidham will show up. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's probably going to be similar to last week's game. It's going to be probably be a shootout. I don't see any way in hell this defense is going to be able to slow down Patrick Mahomes, given the way they played against inferior quarterbacks and inferior offenses. It's going to be a problem. And they have this guy called Jared McKinnon, who can catch passes like crazy too, just like CMC. And he's been doing pretty well lately. And I would say that's going to be a huge problem for us. Just give you a little preview on that. So get your final votes in. I'm going to be closing this out. Get any final comments in. I want to thank you guys for coming out. You got any final comments? We'll close out the voting right now in that poll. Get our final results. There we go. It's coming out. Oh, YouTube's a little slow tonight. Oh, it's a little Mark Davis tonight. What's your take? Majority of you, of course, said it's a plan. It kind of feels that way. It's almost like a light switch. Okay, now I got my guy in. Now I'm going to play call for real. And again, given the level of talent we went up against this week, doesn't make any sense, guys. Doesn't make any sense for it to naturally occur. It's crazy. It's insane. So it's basically a big soap opera going on right now. And frankly, it's been a soap opera at least since the Gruden era, let's be honest. I mean, like I said, Antonio Brown situation, letting Khalil Mack go, not even talking to him when he first got here. Marshawn Lynch was a little bit of a situation too. The transition from Oakland to Las Vegas and leaving the fan base and all that. The taking the bus around the Kansas City Chiefs stadium after the win or whatever. It's been a lot of little crazy things going on with this team. Of course, Ruggs and Arnett and even Josh Jacobs had a maybe DUI, maybe not. Remember that, where he had the big old knot on his head? I believe that was last offseason, right before the start of the season. Didn't really hear anything about that. It kind of got buried, but of course later on with Henry Ruggs, this tragedy. So a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of soap opera type stuff with this organization. Unfortunately, I do want to thank you guys for coming out. I see a lot of people still hearing me chat and yammer on about stuff. A lot of likes, 1,500 on the TikTok side, and we got 12 on the YouTube side. Appreciate that. Again, I will be back on Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We'll do our final game preview, that against our rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs. I hope they show up. If they do show up, they can at least make a game of it. Who knows? Who knows what can happen? And with that said, thanks again. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.